at least Hinduism has goddesses.
Yay! Favorite goddess?
I don't know if probably Parvati.
What's her What's her thing?
Parvati is one of her forms is, her main form is she's Shiva's wife.
Shiva, the creator?
No, Shiva is the destroyer.
Oh, who's the creator?
Brahma.
Apologies.
That's okay. And Shiva's the one where every time he opens his third eye, an eternity passes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I know. So, but the thing about Parvati that I love so much is that I think she's the only Indian or Hindu goddess who is divine in her own right, not because of her marriage or her father.
Lush.
So she, throughout all the stories and the mythology around her, wants to know, because in Hinduism, God is really yourself with a capital S. So she is very much...
Wait, I didn't know this. So
divinity is in us. And so that's the whole purpose. You know, like we say, we want to be liberated. We want to have nirvana. We want to have moksha. It's because we are always here in different bodies to learn that we are ourselves divine, right? Broadly speaking. So,
but you still celebrate the gods and goddesses. Like
yeah,
you still make offerings.
Because the mind needs a form. To them. Because the mind needs a form.
Okay.
You know, the thing about the mind is it needs something to look at, to smell, to see. Otherwise, how do you bring your attention anywhere?
Yeah.
So all of these forms are for our attention, so that if you keep on seeing this divinity, that's how your focus will ever be on divinity.
And you can pray to a certain god or goddess to bring out the divinity you so desire or
wish.
You
can pray for money, you can pray for education, you can pray for fertility, but it's to focus the mind on the fact that there's divinity everywhere and also inside. The thing about Parvati is, because she's herself divine, she's a female who shows up and says, I want myself to know myself. I don't need a man. I don't need a husband. I don't need a father. I am sui generis, able to understand what is my divinity. And all her stories are about that. And that's what I like about her, because it's, in a way, the most equal relationship. And when in one of the songs, Guru Gita, when she sits at Shiva's feet and he's a renunciate.
Yeah.
And she decides she wants to marry him, and she's very stunning, so she dances, and he's always in meditation like this. And then she gets the god of love and lust to come and put his arrow
What's his name?
Kama. And to put his arrow. And as he's about to pull the arrow, Shiva opens his eyes and burns him to dust and says, you should know better. I am in stillness.
Shut the fuck up.
And she's like, oh, damn, that didn't work. But because she's divine, she has all these powers. And finally...
Turning people into dust?
Well, she didn't. He did. Yeah, he does. He just gets angry like that. He also wears a garland of skulls. He's like on his own trip. Anyway.
Yeah, he is.
But finally, you know what she falls in love with about him?
What?
When he finally opens...
His abs? No, sorry.
When he finally opens his eyes, because she has sat there forever and says... okay, you know what? I accept you. Like, I accept you to be my wife. You've shown that you're not, you know what she says? No, I want to learn the meaning of stuff. That's what I want. I've gone past all the other stuff. I want to learn what is God? What is divinity? Teach me that. And so she meets him right there. And like, he's all about like, oh, you're hot and you should be my wife. She's like,
But she advocates for herself.
Yeah, and she's like, I want to have the knowledge that everyone says you have. Here. And that's amazing about her. The other thing, and I don't know how much time we have, but I'll tell you the story.
No, tell me.
You're going to love this story.
We'll do problems in the extras. Fuck it.
You're going to love this story. So then they marry, right? And here's a story that my mom used to tell me, and I used to read in the Indian comic books, and I always thought, she's the bomb. She's the bomb. Is that they got married, and it was huge because he'd finally accepted her, and they were very happy. And then he had gone to war or gone to do something once, and she lived in his palace. So it was their palace, their home, and all the guards and everything were all like, oh, Lord Shiva, he's our boss, you know, and you're his queen, and it's great.
Must be really difficult to be married to like the destroyer, like just like plates and cups and stuff.
That too, and also he gets angry. That makes people anxious.
But say I'd hate to work in the destroyer. Like, I love her, but like I think it would be tricky to like clean up after that.
No, but they had help.
Okay, good.
Yeah, because they were like kings and queens as well. Anyway, so she's going to have a bath, And she thinks to herself, every time I go to have a bath, I want my privacy. But if my lord, her husband, comes home, the guards always let him in because they're like, it's his house. But sometimes I just want my own space, you know. So she says, I need someone of my own who just sees me.
Yeah.
So she takes ubtan. Ubtan is a thing we make with like water, rose water, a bit of turmeric, a bit of chickpea paste, and we usually do it to like clean ourselves.
Okay.
So she does that, and she does like this with her body, and she gets all that, you know, grime off.
Yeah.
And she makes a little boy, and she breathes life into him, because remember, she's divine. So she has that power. She breathes life into him, and he's a little boy, and she says, you're my son, and you're just my son. I'm going to have a bath, and don't let anyone in. And she doesn't tell him anything else. And he says, sure, Mom. Cool. So he goes. And
he's just fine with it. He's just like, no questions.
No questions.
He's not hungry.
I told you in India, we don't say why to parents. We already.
Just like, oh, hi, I've just been bored. Okay, cool. No, you have a bath.
Yeah. So she gives him all of what he needs. And he's there. And she's having a bath. And then Shiva comes back. Okay. And he says, hello to all the guards. And he's about to go in. And this little boy says, my lord, my mother is bathing. You cannot go in. And he's like, who are you? Like, what? You know, move out of the way.
She didn't tell me she had a fucking son.
Yeah, exactly. And he says, he keeps calling her my mother. And he's like, all right, fine. Get out of the way. And the kid says, no. He says, I can't. It's my mother's word. And her word is everything. And he says, I'm Shiva. I am her husband. I'm this. He's like, sure, but it's her word. And then all kinds of things start happening. A war is waged. But this boy has so much power that this is mythology. But
still!
Yeah, but then Shiva gets more and more angry, and his armies. Meanwhile, she's having a very long bath, okay?
Yeah, I was about to say, like, she's enjoying the soak.
Yeah, but she also has, you know what we talk about, manifestation, intention. She has full belief in her son and her love for her son and her power to have someone who just sees her.
Okay.
Full thing goes on. Doesn't work. Shiva gets...
Wait, the war happens while she's in the
bath.
tub?
In the bath. It's all going on. It's a mythology story, all right?
Yeah.
But the boy, even though he's very gracious, he's unbeatable. He's like, you can't go in. And then at some point, he turns his back, and Shiva comes from the back and cuts off his head. To win, to be able... And he says, there you go. Now I can go in. And at that moment, Parvati comes out, and she says, that was treachery. And he says, oh, come on, this boy, and, you know, I don't know what you were doing, or whatever argument they have. And she says, that was my son. And you are prayed to by the mortals as God, and you were so treacherous? And she said, these people that pray to you, because of whom you are so great, you and Vishnu and Brahma, you're frauds. You wait and see what I do to them, because I am also God, because she's divine. So she puts plague on human beings. All the temples they go to, there's just plague and sickness. And people are like, oh, Shiva, oh, have you forsaken us? And he can do nothing. And she just sits back. And she's like, you are treacherous. You killed my boy. With treachery.
Oh,
because your ego,
God,
as a God, is this, I'll show you. Not one person is going to believe in you. And in that form, she's Devi. And no one knows what to do. Finally, Brahma shows up.
The creator.
And he goes to Shiva and he's like, it is a shit show down there.
Yeah.
People are losing faith in us. What is going on?
People are throwing up in the street and pooing everywhere. The
and
plague
dying.
is a nightmare. Yeah.
Yeah, and also you're domestic. And where is your ego? And Shiva says, I didn't realize. He's like, what did you not realize? You killed that boy with treachery and you expect to be held up in respect?
Never decapitate a boy.
From the back.
Never.
No, but if you're in a war, it's a war. But, I mean, the boy was a soldier, fine. But she said, if you had beaten him fair and square. Anyway, Brahma goes to her, and he begs her. And he's Brahma and Vishnu. They all say, please, please, please. And she says, you know, the three of you, men, you think this is what is to... No. And he says, I will bring your boy back to life.
Yay, Brahma.
Yeah. And she says, and because she's a mother... That's really what she wants.
Yeah.
And so he goes to Shiva and he says, look here, dude, get in the forest and the first animal you see, bring me its head because I need a head.
Oh, no.
And Shiva goes in the forest and the first thing he sees is a one-tusked elephant. And that is why you have Ganesha. He is the god of all new beginnings and auspicious starts.
Oh my God.
And that's him. And so you always have Shiva, Parvati and Ganesha there.
There's a little family unit.
They're mother, father.
Did they-
Ganesha is Shiva's and Parvati's son.
Not that it's any of my business what happens in their marriage, but did Shiva and Parvati like stay together?
They
after
did,
that?
and they have another son,
Really?
Kartikeya. They have another son, Kartikeya.
God, I think that'd be tricky to stay together after that.
But she taught him a lesson, and he begged.
Yeah, it's a lesson taught, but like I think it'd be hard to move on, like to get back in bed with him. I'd be like, oh, fucking.
Yeah, I don't know what the goddess and goddesses did, but they stayed together.
Some people are bad at forgiveness.
Yeah.
I think it's the lesson.
And also, I think she was like, bitch, I showed you.
Yeah, I mean, she did, but like...
I mean, and no offense to any Hindus listening to this. Obviously, she didn't say that. That's my language. Sorry.
Yeah, just to check, like, did then Ganesha, like, have a good relationship with Shiva, with his dad?
Yeah, I mean, he was always like, my mom's pretty great and you're okay.
Yeah, I think I'd feel super awkward around my dad after
No,
that.
he was fine.
Really?
Yeah, because in Hinduism, it's all cyclical. So everything that happens is so that we learn something so that next time we're better. But that's why I love
the Bible, man.
That's why I love Parvati.
I like her too.
And she is, so the two forms in human...
I do think the bath could have been a bit shorter.
Yeah, but,
I'm honest. And I do think a plague to all human.
No, but she was trying to... But she gave... But listen, she gave Shiva so many chances.
She did.
To back away.
Oh, man.
And here was all of humanity saying Shiva and Brahma and Vishnu are so great. And she was like, are they though? For ego, you kill a child from the back?
Not nice. Not nice.
And that's how come we have Devi. Like for us, goddesses are a big deal. Because we're like, yeah, you know. So we have Devi and we have Shiva and Shakti.
Who's Shakti?
That's what we call, that's the sort of...
The Trinity.
Form. No, that's a form of Uma. That's the female energy.
Oh.
So in all tantric, you have Shakti and Shiva, the male and the female energy. Always. There's no life without male and female.
Interesting. Have you read the Bible?
So many times I went to a Catholic and I went to
It's not as good, is it?
It's different.
It's really
The Abrahamic
different.
religions are different.